Ah, yes. The amusement park. What a perfect place to look at fun, games, and yes, physics.
You talking about this?
Yes,
This is an amusement park. There's no physics in an amusement park.
there is plenty of physics in an amusement park.
No. Amusement parks are fun. Physics aren't fun.
Physics is fun, and look at that. That is physics.
Does this look like physics? I don't think so. No.
Alright, then we will have to take you to a place where physics is fun.
What are you talking about? Where in the physics am I?
Yes, I remember this recording. Well, hello there. You must be my new pupil. What is your
What?
name?
I'm not telling you my name.
What is your name?
Alright, it's Ethan.
Thank you. And now,
What's your name?
oh, you want to know my name? My name is Still Ties the Physics Guy.
Still ties
Yeah.
the physics guy.
I get it. Yeah.
Dill.
Where are we?
Okay, we're in my lab.
Yeah, well, I
Right,
can
this is
tell.
a physics lab, and there's only two ways to get in here. Did you use shampoo before conditioner?
No.
Okay, good. It would be an animal, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Then you must have had a physics question.
Well,
Where were you before this?
the amusement park.
Okay, then
Nothing to do with physics.
you, sir, Ethan, are completely wrong. There's everything to do
I was
with
on the
physics.
slingshot ride. What does that have to do with physics?
The slingshot ride is one of the most physics principled based.
This is physics.
Yes,
That's not physics.
that is physics.
No, it's not.
I don't want to send you to Bryce.
What?
Bryce, do I?
Who is Bryce?
That's it. I'm gonna have to send you to Bryce.
Oh yeah, my name is Bryce. Well, now let's get to the nerdy stuff. So for the motion, I would like to analyze 3 different points. When initially, there's the initial point where it's just tensioned, right? Then there would be a point at which it would be at the maximum height. And it would also have a point, finally, where it's at basic equilibrium and it doesn't move anymore. So for all of those cases, let's simplify it and say there's only gravitational and spring force. And to further simplify it, since there's 2 bands technically, because on both sides it has to equal out, let's sum them up to 1 band for spring force. And the gravitational force for all 3 cases will be the same because the weight hasn't changed. So at the starting point, the tension has to be greater than gravity to enforce a net force for it to go upwards with some velocity. Because the spring force is related by the displacement from equilibrium, such as that, there would be a transition state between the lowest and highest point here, where it would be just below the equilibrium, up to the point where it's just above the equilibrium. And at this point, the gravitational force actually overcomes the spring force. Like it's going upwards towards equilibrium like that. But there's still some velocity, so it still goes up as it slows down going up. And then it will go into a state, as I mentioned before, where it was slightly above equilibrium, but not at the max point yet. And in this point, as I said before, spring force is still related to the displacement, but this time the displacement is upwards. So the spring force will actually be downwards with gravity. Now your decrease or the acceleration downwards will actually be increased. So that's why this leads us into the maximum height where all the spring force is going downwards and the gravitational is also going downwards, causing it to stop. Max height, it wouldn't go any higher, so the velocity is obviously 0. And this is the point where the force still on it is still downwards, so it will actually reverse back into this, where it keeps going downwards slightly above equilibrium, and it will keep going downwards because it still has velocity until it goes to the point where it's below equilibrium and the displacement is now upwards, and the spring force will increase towards something like this. In the ideal system, this will actually go all the way to here, and it would cycle between those motions. But in the real world, because we have energy loss in the form of heat, sound, and air drag, it will actually stop at a point of equilibrium where the gravitational force actually equals the spring force, and it will be slightly below it because the gravitational force exists. And I mean, that's a good thing because even if you really like slingshot roller coaster, you wouldn't want to stay on it forever.
See, as Bryce stated, physics at the amusement park. We're done here. Good.
Okay, no, we're not. Okay, it's at the amusement park. Doesn't say anything. It's not fun.
What do you... Why do you go to the amusement park?
To have fun.
Yes. On rides?
No, to do my physics homework. Just kidding. No, do physics homework. It's not fun.
Yes. The physics is what is making you have that fun. Do you not understand that yet?
No.
Yes. I'm gonna have to send you to Bryce again.
No, not Bryce.
Yes.
Please.
Hold on.
What?
He's up here.
Where?
He's in here.
Where?
And he's going back.
What?
Oh, hey. You're looking for Bryce, huh? Well, he took a lunch, so I'm a cover for him. Today, we're going to be talking about G-force and how it affects you in a slingshot roller coaster. But first, let's even look at how you get to this part where you're at the bottom waiting to get shot up. The slingshot roller coaster has built-in spring boxes that pull down over here and is disconnected, right? And so it pulls a string so that way whenever it goes, it launches you up. So this is a spring box, has a bunch of different springs in there. This would be without any tension on it. And then when it's about to get ready to get used for a ride, it fills up here, and this extra space would give us the X that would give us the potential energy of the spring constant. So with this slingshot roller coaster, at the bottom, we calculated that you experience about 40 tons of potential energy. 40 tons from that equation. So down there, you're hooked in, right? You're about to get sent up, sent to space like an astronaut. So as soon as you're ready, they unhook and the springs get pulled down and send you flying up. So right at this spot, you're experiencing, well, only gravity, so 1g. And then right as you get sent up, you experience about 5 Gs of linear force, which linear just means it's going in one direction. And according to our research, we found that humans can experience about 17 Gs of force. So you should be safe while riding this and not die. But, you know, it has its risks. Then as soon as you get here, there's no more potential energy because the springs are, you know, there's no more change in X. So now it's just the kinetic energy sending you up and gravity that's pulling you down until you get up here at max height, where all of it just turns into gravitational potential energy. And that's the type of G-force and energy you experience throughout. Thank you.
These imbeciles actually forgot a scene. So it includes this man and this man, both who you have seen before. So it's not that big of a deal, but we'll start with him. It goes something like this. He states, but all this physics, how will it have an actual impact? You know, like, on the real world? Which then, Doctor says, well, yes, actually, it does have a real world, and I can directly pull this to one of my other physicists. You have multiple physicists? I am a doctor, after all. Uh, okay, where's he at? He is just right over there. And then we cut to back to the video.
Are we not going to talk about how he looks like me? I don't see the resemblance. Anyway, these are the two types of materials used commonly. First one's elastic. We'll get to steel later. Elastic, no bueno. This is what it looks like in use. Like any other thing. Fully stretched out, looks great, right? But after a couple uses, whenever it's not in active use, it starts to slowly break down. Not as straight, not as strong. This is because it goes over 400 to 500 uses before it breaks down. Seems like a lot, right? You try carrying 40 plus tons of weight. That's a lot of work. Over time, this snaps and is a huge safety hazard, which is why steel is better. So I told her, it's not a dill. That's my uncle.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I don't know. Anyway, here's steel. Steel is much stronger than elastic. You see, in use it looks very similar, no difference. But after time, it maintains its shape. Why? Steel is much stronger than elastic. It has a lot more protection against UV rays, moisture, and natural hazards. Steel also requires less legal maintenance. Why? Because it's stronger and it's always safer. I get it.
Good, yes.
The acceleration, the G-force,
Yes, those are factors.
the spring force, everything.
Okay.
It's everywhere. But how can it be? How can this affect outside of physics?
You might have gotten a little confused and a little startled. That's okay. We will go into our intern, Andrew.
All right, so now we're going to talk about some social implications of the slingshot roller coaster, guys. So first off, let's start with the size of it, right? You're going to have to build this, and as you can see, that's two people right there. You look at it, right here. It's two people compared to the giant beams holding it up. That's going to take a lot of room of construction. And if we keep going, look how big an amusement park is, right? So obviously, slingshot roller coasters, they're very fun, but who really wants to be waiting in line all the time? So that's why we need a whole theme park, right? I'm advertising this, and you need seating, you need food, and more rides to go on so you don't get bored. So obviously, there's going to have to be a town that can hold up and be big enough to support this theme park, right? So that's where we get into our first problem, the construction. Well, not really problem, but definitely an impact on people. Construction is going to take months, if not years, to build. This isn't fast work. It's not fast setting concrete, if you must. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of space. As you can see, they're clearing it out to build a theme park for y'all. And another thing that we had to talk about is the traffic, right? Because you're adding to this theme park, there'll be tourists, which means we'll need roads connected to the building and the rides, so that way people can drive there, which means extra traffic will be a problem. So whenever you're on your daily commute to go get coffee, you might want to leave 10 minutes early to go get that. Plus parking, right? There's going to be a lot of cars, going to be a lot of parking lots. It's going to fill up quick. So make sure you get there early, guys. And speaking of tourists, look at all of them. There's going to be so many people there. That's going to take away from the enjoyment of the town that you could be living at if they build a theme park there. I mean, look at this guy. He looks like he's up to no good, let's be honest. And lastly, we got the pollution. The pollution from building this will cause problems in the area, mainly breathing, and also just environmental problems. But first, I want to take y'all to the board to talk about some benefits. Well, let's talk about some good things, right? So, let's start off. We have more people coming to the small town. Yes, it'll be annoying dealing with extra people, more traffic, but more people means more, that's right, money that can be brought in for the town and also the local businesses. I mean, they'll have to be able to accommodate all the places. Little open sign there. They'll have to get bigger or just be able to sell more. So those are some positives of having a roller coaster.
It's all making sense.
Yes.
The physics
Of course.
and your friend really helped out
Not
the
for
social
an
rules.
intern.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, you are sorry.
It's all connecting now.
Yes.
It's all making sense.
Of course. As I was trying to explain to you, the amusement park has an amazing culture of fun, social implications, and physics.
Thank you, Dill Tie, the physics guy. Science rules.